What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Abundant Relationships. If it's your first time, my name is Evans-Claude Sabbi. On this channel, I give you guys dating advice that will make your dating and relationship life easier and also bring more joy in your life. So, today I want us to talk about charisma, the ability that determines how likable you are to other people. And you might be saying, Evans, I'm not a people pleaser. Why should I care about that? The one thing that makes charisma such a good thing to have is that it also comes along with influence. Something to keep in mind here is that the more charisma you have translates to how much influence you can have on other people. This doesn't just apply on your work life, it can also work in your circle of friends or family members. Plus, if there's that sexy señorita that you have your attention on, it can also work on her as well. One of the easiest way you can gain charisma is by honoring people's names. How do you honor someone's name? It's very simple. Just remember that person's name. It is as simple as that. And in this video, I'm going to give you guys a method that you can start using today to start gaining influence on those people around you. So let's get into it. The method that you can use to remember people's names is divided into three sections. It's called the RPM method. R portion stands for reason. Do you have a compelling enough reason to remember people's names? I remember when I used to work in sales, one of my main reasons for remembering people's names was the fact that I took so much pride in the relationship building process of my job. So that was my reason. For you, it could be the fact that you want to ask that girl out, and that's the main motivation you have for remembering that person's name. So have a compelling enough reason that will get you interested in remembering that person's name. The second portion is the P, and that stands for presence. Be fully present in whatever interaction you're having. You will see most times nowadays people say, hey, how's your day going? While still moving in a different direction. What you can do is fully stop, be present. If you want to have that influence, if you want to get that person to like you, be truly interested in who they are and stop. Be there with them for 1 minute. Say, hey, how's your day going? How's your morning been? And let that person talk. Be fully present with them. We have things like our cell phones. We have sometimes things like our wearables like watches. Always make sure that these things that you have around you are not distracting you from your presence and fully being there with them. And if you're meeting someone for the first time, it is okay asking them more than once for their names when you're greeting one another. So let's say if somebody has a foreign name, it's a little bit hard for you to grasp by them just saying it once. It's okay for you to ask them, say, hey, I know you told me your name, but could you please say it again? It was a little bit hard for me to understand the last time. People will forgive you for that. But what most people are less forgiving of is when you meet them for the second or third time and you butcher their names. They might not always tell you, but the more you mispronounce someone's name, the less likable you become to that particular person and the less influence you will have on that person as well. So be present, ask that person even more than once, and it's okay for you to ignore everything around you and give that person your full, undivided attention. And the last aspect of remembering someone's name is the M. M stands for method. Have a method that you use on a consistent basis that's easy and works for you. Personally, I like using association. Now, how does this work? Mainly when I meet someone whose name, let's say, I've just heard for the first time, no matter how easy that name is, I take that name and associate that with someone that I already know or something that I'm already familiar with. For example, I moved into this new complex and I met our neighbor whose name was Katie. It was my first time meeting that person. I've met Katie's before. The issue was not that Katie was a hard name to remember. I was meeting so many other people at that exact time as well. In order for me to remember this girl's name, there's a personal trainer who works at the gym that I go to, whose name is also Katie, who's a very good friend of mine, and I associated her with this new neighbor Katie that I've just met. So it became very easy for me to remember her name. Every time that I see Katie the neighbor, the first thing that popped up in my mind was Katie the personal trainer. Association is my preferred method to remember people's names. Other people use different methods. There is also just writing things down on a piece of paper. That can be your method of remembering people's names. As soon as you hear someone's name, you go on the side, you write it down on a notebook. That's something you can use as well. So R stands for reason. Have a compelling reason as to why you want to remember people's names. And the more you do that, the more this reason becomes personal, the easier it is going to be for you to remember that person's name. The P is be fully present, regardless of how many distractions you have around you. If you want to remember people's names, if you want to gain influence on that person, if you want to be likable around that person, just be fully present, be fully engaged. There's nothing that's as disconnecting as having a conversation with someone and then that person's mind is somewhere else. And sometimes you might think that the other person doesn't know, but it's very easy to clue in when somebody's not present. So be fully present, avoid distractions. If you can avoid them, try to ignore them. And that's going to make it a little bit easier for you to remember someone's name. Lastly, have a method that works for you. It could be association, it could be things like visualization, or it could also be as simply as writing a name down as soon as you hear them after that conversation is ended. If you want to learn more about how to optimize your brain power, there's 2 books I'm going to recommend for you. Number 1 is Moonwalking with Einstein by Joshua Foer. The second book is Limitless by Jim Quick. The information you can get from these 2 books is life-changing when it comes to optimizing your brain and how you can get the most out of this thing between your skull. So thank you very much for watching to the very end. If you found these videos of value, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, share the videos. Let me know, do you have a way that you use to remember people's names? Put it down in the comment section below because I would love to hear that. And until next time, thank you very much and always live abundantly. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.